something I was thinking about recently was how people write emotions, like turning emotions into words, if that makes sense, is such like a fascinating thing that people do. Because I was just thinking about it, I'm like, how would I ever explain how I write poetry or how I write anything? Why do I write these words onto the page? Why do I take these feelings and put them onto a page through another character's lens? Like, why do I do this? Why do I have this urge to put pen to paper and write these things out, but not as like a journal, not as like I statements, or if they are an I statements, it's not as myself. Why do I do that? How do I do this? How do I decide what words to word onto the page? Like how? So that is what I'm wanting to explore. And when I'm thinking about it, it's interesting. Sometimes I just have these emotions and I just need to get them out of me. And the way I do that is by word vomiting them in an abstract way. I think I've talked about this in one of my other videos where it feels easier to deal with like negative thoughts and stuff when disassociating them from myself. And I know a lot of people feel that way. So it's almost like poetry is a way to do that, where it feels very abstract instead of so real. But honestly, it feels even more guttural when I read it back. Something I'm working on for school right now is turning one of my poems into a comic. And I think I'll release it if I like it. The only thing is the one that I felt drawn to do is very vulnerable. And I wrote it back in 2018, apparently. So it's been a long time. And I still look back on it and I'm like, whoa. I wrote that. Those are the thoughts I was feeling then. And I still feel them now sometimes. This is crazy. Oh, you know what else is crazy? Being stopped all of a sudden on the freeway. But it's interesting how to choose words. And the words that come to mind. Because, like, I've written songs. And when I write the songs, they just start coming freely. Like, sometimes I'm like, I have to write this down right now, or I'm going to forget what I just did because that is awesome. Like, this is great. This is beautiful. Let me write this down. So I do that. And then it's just, yeah. I don't know. It's weird. Because I'll just have these thoughts and feelings, and somehow they'll come out in the form of, in poetry form. It's not like the same kind, it's not very polished poetry, but I feel like the most real raw poetry is so nice to read because those are the thoughts and feelings of another person. And if you can relate to those thoughts and feelings of another person, it's even more personable, if that makes sense. And I don't know, it's just an interesting thought that I had where I'm just like, this pain and rumbling I feel inside and this urge to just grab a hold of something and eat. I don't know, like, I'm hungry and all I can think about right now is food and coffee. Coffee's good right now. But anyway, that was bad. It's a very bad explanation. I swear I can write good poetry, but I write some of the best poetry when I am really in my feels and really honestly sad. Sad poetry is very easy to write because it feels like the emotions are just ready to go into the page. Yes, that makes sense. But I don't know. It's just odd. I'm very curious how other people think about it, and like, do writers even think about it, because I don't think about it really in the moment. I'm just like, these are the words that make sense right now. And then even when I'm writing, not poetry, but just like story, the way that the words and the sentences just form onto the page, sometimes they'll form super, super fast, and sometimes I'm like, I don't even know what to say. The times they form super, super fast is when I'm so into the character, I'm so into the story, I am invested, and the emotions that I feel for the character, or even if sometimes I will try to embody the character, almost like an actor, like how actors embody the character. I will embody the character and almost pretend like I am them and think like them while I am writing. There are some times when that is so toxic and very, very difficult. I mean, same thing as for actors, where if you get too into the character, it can feel so intense. There are times when I was sitting there crying over my own characters, as feeling like I was part of this story. And there are times where when I pulled back after writing a scene from like the villain's perspective, and I was just like, oh, like Cursed Princess's Revenge, that one, which I haven't talked about yet, that one has some point of views when I was writing them that it felt very, very intense in the moment because of the content I was writing. Now, that one I need to go back and reread it. I haven't really touched it. I wrote it for November last year. I know NaNoWriMo wasn't really a thing last year, but I just did it on my own just to see if I could write a book in a month, and I did. So a lot happened. I went through a lot in that story, and just kind of was like, I need to take a break. But as I was writing it, I felt even more in tune with the characters, where I felt like I needed to be in certain characters' perspectives for certain things, just so I could get those emotions across, if that makes sense. And by the end, I felt like it got better and better because I finally understood the characters more, so hopefully in this next pass, it's better that way. But yeah, it's interesting, the way that emotions turn to words. Not even just on a page, but even just talking right now, me rambling about things. That is my thoughts and my feelings just coming out in the form of words and explanation. And sometimes words and explanation don't make sense, and I just have to go, to get the point across. Yep, those are my random thoughts for today. I hope you enjoyed, and let me know if you're also a writer of some kind. Let me know what you think about how emotions turn to words, or how you think about it, or how you do it in the comments down below. Thanks. See you next time.